folks, it's all busy and happening here. I've got the air still in, I've got some ginger and lime cider fermenting, but today's recipe is going to be a non-alcoholic apple cordial. The ingredients that are going to go in the cordial are as follows. I've got 2.1 kilograms of apples, which are all Windfall apples from my apple tree. I'm going to use 1.5 kilos of sugar, and I'm going to use 1.5 litres of water in the main recipe, but I will use a little bit more water because I need to steam my apples first in my big pan. So I'm going to begin with my big chopper, and it's simply a case of halving the apples like so, and once they've been halved I put them into my big pan. Okay, so there's the apples in the pan. Next to me, Waggle Dance pint of coffee. And if you don't know what Waggle Dance is, you're not old enough. Right, I want to steam these apples, so I'm just going to add a little bit of water in the bottom of the pan, not too much, just enough to give it a good covering, maybe 1.5 centimetres, 2 centimetres deep, that'll do. So then it's the pan on the ring, lid on, and gas on, and I'm just going to let this come to a simmer now. Now I want this to stay at a low temperature, so I don't want the apples to burn on the bottom of the pan, so it's going to simmer. It's going to take quite a while, it might take 40 minutes to an hour, but once it's simmered for a little while the apples will break down into nothingness, and at that point I'll come back to you. So I'll catch you in however long it takes, 40 minutes or an hour. Okay, see you in a bit. Okay, an hour has passed, and that it's proper steamy. I'm going to turn that off because I can see that they've broken down. I'll just get the spud masher in there. Yeah, easy. So the apples have released all of the juice that was within them into the water that was in the bottom of the pan to steam them. I still need to add more water. I'm just going to mush these down a bit, and then I'm going to run them or push them through a sieve. Right, so there's my big pan of apples, and I'm going to have to get them from there into this sieve and then push them through the sieve with that wooden spoon, so all that the stalks and the pips and the skin is left in the sieve, and I get a nice apple mush go through there. So this is what you call making an apple base, and I use an apple base when I make cider, when I make jam, when I make applesauce, when I make wine, and now when I make cordial. So you can see that the liquid that's in there is coming through voluntarily, but I'm going to push it now with the wooden spoon in a circular motion, and that liquid will thicken as bits of apple pulp come through. I'm just holding this up to demonstrate it, but I'm going to have to lower it because I don't want to lose stuff. So I'm going to lower this down, and I've basically got to keep pushing. So to get through this sieve full with this wooden spoon is going to take me about 3 or 4 minutes. So there's no point in you watching 3 or 4 minutes of me doing this. When I've done this one sieve, I'll come back to you and show you what I've got. So that is the net result of my first lot being pushed through the sieve. That's the apple puree in there, the good stuff, and this is the rubbish just here, which is going to go to compost. I've got to carry on with the rest of this, so I'll come back to you when it's all done. Okay, so this is what 2.2 kilos of apples looks like once it's been pushed through the sieve. That's the mess, which is going to be going to compost. This is the good stuff, which I'm now going to water down to make into cordial. I'm now just going to add to this 1.5 litres of plain old tap water, council pot. So each one of these jugs is 500 ml. So there's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. Right, I'm going to use a big spoon and give it a nice stir around, loosen it up. I want the water and the puree to mix to form a nice thickened liquid, and I want the apple puree to break down even further, so I want to put it back onto heat. Okay, so I'm on the back left ring, which, confession, it's my favourite. Front right's my second favourite, back left's my favourite. I'm going to just turn this up ever so slightly, and I'm going to let this come to a simmer. So I'll come back to you when that's simmering. Right, this is beginning to simmer. Just going to give it a stir around. I don't want it to burn on the bottom. And I'm going to let it simmer for 10 minutes and then I'll switch it off. Okay, the first boil is now done, so heat is off. Oh yes, that's hot and steamy. Burnt my fingers. So this is currently somewhere in between applesauce and a smoothie. I'm just going to let that heat dissipate a little bit before moving to the next step. Okay, so now the fun stroke messy bit. Now I could go for a big pour with the pan, but I'm not going to. Now let me show you what I'm pouring through. So I've got a muslin cloth over a colander into my next pan, and I just want to pour this in and let it drip through very, very gently. So essentially I'm refiltering, but this time through a finer mesh. I'm going to begin using a ladle, and when I've got more than halfway down the pan, I'll pour. And you can hear the liquid going through. What I'm not doing this time is forcing it through. I'm not pushing it with a spoon or anything like that. I want gravity to be my assistant now. I don't want any big pieces to fall through. I don't want a lumpy cordial. At the same time, I don't mind if there is a little bit of cloudiness and sediment. You know, shake the bottle, wake the drink, that's fine. I just don't want a lumpy drink. I'm steaming up, but as you can hear, there is lots of liquid coming out of this, so this is really good. Okay, I'm feeling brave enough for a pour. Let's do it. I'll show you what it looks like. So this is what I've got. Now for all the liquid to come out of that I can use, I'm going to have to leave this for about 3 hours. I don't want any contaminants in there. So I'm putting the lid on. And it's now a case of just playing the waiting game. So it's currently 3:10. So I'll come back to you by 6:10 or a bit later than that, depending on what I do. Incidentally, the apple mush that will be left in the muslin cloth isn't getting wasted. I will be combining it with blackberries later to make some jam, and that will go in a different film. Catch you in a bit, folks. Hey folks, well what I was going to do didn't happen. It's now 11 o'clock at night, as you can probably see from the clock up there. So this has been a long time, but let's have a look at what the apple looks like. Now that is the apple, the juice is underneath. So I've literally got as much liquid out of that as I can, and I'm actually now leaving it overnight. So the liquid which is underneath that will form my cordial, and all that apple matter there is going to go into some jam with these blackberries that I've picked tonight. So it's all happening, but timescales are fluid. I'll catch you in the morning when I'll finish the cordial off. Okay, see you then folks. Good morning from the kitchen, folks. It's the next day and now I'm ready to get this apple cordial sorted. Let's have a look. So overnight, this is what it's compressed as. It looks like some sort of cheese, doesn't it? It's fantastic. So that solid matter will go really well later with those blackberries to make a nice jam, but it's what's underneath it that we're interested in right now. So I'm going to lift this off and put this over a different pan. And we'll come back to those solids in a separate film for the blackberry and apple jam later. But let's have a look at this apple cordial. Okay, so this is what it currently looks like. Yes, there is some sediment in there, not too much, but that is going to be great. It's going to be a cloudy cordial, obviously. So I'm going to transfer the cordial into a clean pan. And there was noticeably actually a couple of lumps there, so I might just strain it one more time. Yeah, I think I will. So I'm just going to do this gently and hopefully not make too much mess. So I'm going to have to do about 400 ml at a time. It's going to take a little while. I'll come back to you when it's all done. Okay, so this has now been restrained, and this has demonstrated that I've got 2.4 litres of cordial before I've even added the sugar. So that's the next thing to do. So this will go up considerably. There were some lumps that came out. I can't actually see in the filter because it's a bit, oh, there you go. So I don't even know how stuff like that managed to get through, but it did. But now I've refiltered it again through that, I'm confident that that is now bit free. Okay, I've got this back in the pan. Now I've just had a little taste of it off camera. Apologies, it should have been on camera, but I had a little taste off camera and it's not quite as bitter as I thought it might be. Sometimes when you heat fruit up, it gives bitter flavours. I think I might not need 1.5 kilos of sugar, so I'm just going to begin with 1 kilo of sugar and see what I think. So there's my first 778 grams. Just going to pour that in. Oh, slightly over, but that's fine. And there's the rest. Now it might turn out that I do need more sugar. The last time that I made an apple cordial, I did it from the apples on my back tree. Okay, now that's a cooking apple tree. They're not sweet apples, and that's possibly why I put so much sugar in before. I've took these apples from my front garden tree, which is a sweet apple tree, and I think that this is possibly why I don't need as much sugar. But we won't know until I've boiled it up again and then had a taste of it. So I'm just going to give this a stir. It feels really heavy and thick, as you can imagine. Okay, I need to bring this to the boil again. So back on the back left ring, got the heat on. I'm going to turn that down and I'm going to let that come to a simmer. That's going to take a while, so I'll come back to you when that's simmering. See you then. Right, it's apple cordial update. Here it is. It's simmering nicely with the lid on. I'm going to let it simmer for a further 10 minutes and then I'm going to turn the heat off. Okay, 10 minutes is up. Smells fab. Yeah. Okay. I'll turn that off. Perch the lid, let some heat out. I'm going to leave this for an hour so the temperature comes down a bit. I'll get back to you then. Okay, back into the noisy and busy kitchen for a cordial update. It's all happening. I've got jam on the go, I've got cider on the go, dishwasher on, cordial here, jam jars sanitising. Oh, it's busy, busy, busy. So I'm just going to have a taste of the cordial in its concentrated form. Wow, that is super concentrated and super sweet, even with the less amount of sugar in. I'm going to tame that down a bit with some lemon juice. So just standard lemon juice. I'm just going to put some in the pan, a few shakes. And the other good thing about this is it's got sodium metabisulfate in it, which is a preservative, which might mean it helps to keep this a bit longer also. So I just give that a stir around. Try another taste. That's good. That's better. Right, I've got several recycled spirit and liqueur bottles just here, which I'm going to put my cordial into. Got my little funnel. I'm using a jug so I don't tip it everywhere, hopefully. Actually, it's not the best jug actually for pouring. I'll start over here. Okay, it's going to take a little while. I'll come back to you. And there's what I've got. I've got 2 litres and then this small bottle full just here, whatever that works out at. Plus, I've got enough here for a little sample. Right, so I've got this little Bluetooth printer just here. Print from my phone now. So I've made my label on a template. So print label, 4 copies. Voila. Ooh, I like it. Get my labels on. there they are. So I've got this much in the bottom of my Stella glass, so let's have a look. I'll dilute it to that and see what that's like. Cheers. It's absolutely fantastic. Wow, it's really, really good. That is a really refreshing summer drink. Excellent, I'm so pleased with that. Now you could use the cordial with lemonade as well. It doesn't have to go with water, or you could use it with, say, gin or vodka or something like that. It would make a good liqueur sort of base. Yeah, it's really, really nice. I'm very, very happy with this. So cheers folks, and I'll catch you on the next film, whatever that may be. The film that you've just watched is a Moss Home and Garden production. You can find more by going to www.mosshomeandgarden.co.uk. I'd just like to say thank you very much for supporting my YouTube channel and for watching my films. It really is very much appreciated. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my YouTube channel in order to receive future updates about the home and garden films which I upload. You can find my YouTube channel by going to www.mosshomeandgarden.co.uk. Please click on the red subscribe button. When you've done that, a little bell will appear. If you press that also, then you'll get future updates about the films which I upload. If you like my films, if you like my style of filming, then you might also like my travel channel, which you will find by going to youtube.com/Stuart Moss or type in www.mosstravel.tv. Again, if you could subscribe to that channel, it would be hugely appreciated. If you'd like to get Moss Home and Garden updates on Facebook, then please open Facebook and do a search for Moss Home and Garden, and you will find the page. If you like the page, then you will get future updates on there. And if you'd like to connect on Instagram for home, garden and travel photography, as well as some stories, then my username is Stu Moss, STUMOSS. If you'd like to connect on Twitter, then my username is @StuartMoss. And if you'd like to contact me about film usage or any other issue, please just email me on stewmosshomegarden@gmail.com. Once again, thank you very much for supporting my channel, for watching my films. I do appreciate it. I'd just like you all to have a great day.